Good morning, welcome to the Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 3rd of November. So the big thing in focus today, we've got lots of focusing things this week, but the thing today, or the thing we should be aware of is, of course, the I'll just bring this up here, is the FOMC statement, funds rate, etc. later today. Now there's quite a wide expectation that they'll be talking about tapering, more detailed talk of tapering, and then giving maybe some more sort of clues in terms of when the tapering's finished. Then they start interest rate increases. Now that's starting to be pushed or brought forward from many of the original forecasts to June, July next year. So it's a lot earlier than the sort of November, December sort of figures that originally people were looking at next year, or not at all. So we'll see what comes of this later, but it may lead us into quite a quiet day. And I imagine, having looked at the euro yesterday, and not actually, even as I said in the morning, I started looking through the markets and I looked at every single one. I thought, no, can't do anything with that, can't do anything with that, and pretty much glad I stayed out of it. If it's not clear, leave it alone unless you want to lose money. Anyway, so what have we got today apart from that risk events? 12:15, we've got the ADP. Now it's useful as a chocolate teapot really, but people have started watching it, and you get a bit more volatility. I think it'll be a short-term ism, but anyway, that's at 12:15. Aside that we got Lagarde speaking, I don't think that's anniversary of the Bank of Portugal. I don't think we'll be doing too much on that one. You never know. But services PMI 2 o'clock. Now remember, just it's normally 7 o'clock and it's a 6 o'clock this month, so watch out for that on the Fed. That's it on the Fed. So news wise, crude oil inventories 230 instead of 330, just to watch out for there. Well worth waiting for those things to happen if you're about to trade it. Right, let's have a look at these markets. We'll start off looking at the currency markets, of course, first, and looking at the euro. Now I must admit, I was looking at this euro thinking, well, it breaks down this sort of 1575 area. For me, it looks like a potential sell. The only thing with it is it's just sitting there in such a small, tight old range, but has got its S1 below. It hasn't quite caught the daily pivot. It might just run off into that and not really do too much. Yeah, to me, as I say, a break of that just would look softer, and I would expect more downside, more downside from it. How much more is another matter. I'm still, in the bigger picture of things, quite bearish on it. But as I said yesterday, when you look at this mess here, it's difficult to actually see the direction it's really going in. It's gone too sideward. The pound, clearer in its direction. We've got the risk element of the Bank of England meeting tomorrow. There's expectation sitting around that in terms of a small increase in interest rates, and well, we'll talk about that tomorrow. But anyway, at the moment that's clearer with its lower highs, lower lows. You just about make it out on here, but again, it's spending lots of time ranging, so I'd be a bit careful, especially always waiting for post 8 o'clock just to see how it shapes. Doesn't look quite so soft as the euro in some respects, but I don't know, it's probably clearer in terms of lower highs, lower lows coming through this. It's just the timing if you're looking for a short on that. Dollar yen, yesterday it started moving all over the shop in the end, and this is why I'm staying out of it. It's just, and stay out of it most of the time. It's often just one of those. It's fine when the market's rolling and everything's out there, but it's just these sort of spiky things that we get in the morning sometimes with just different movements, and then it all rolls back. And but you can just see it's in a range on the 4 hourlies here. It's got itself back into a bit of a range, and sort of messing things up. It's sort of lack of clarity. Now, what would be clearer is for the long side is a break on that 114.02 area. Somewhere in there would be a a more positive move. I am still bullish on the dollar, bearish on the yen, and I still think we've got some further upside, but don't really want to be fighting against it. And the obvious other factor there is the yen's just been benefiting on these yields. The thing to watch for is a breakdown here, but it's a tough old cookie to try and trade and work out. It does go switching from one side to the other. Anyway, talking of switching, Aussie dollar came off yesterday. No surprise on that more dovish statement that came out from the Reserve Bank of Australia there. Seeing a bit of a bounce today so far, bounced off its monthly pivot here quite clearly. It's got a bit ugly with the lower highs that came through. I looked at it yesterday, didn't want to jump on board with it and just left it, and well, there you go. It dropped even further. But when you start trying to compare currencies and looking at what's happening, generally I see the Aussie as a sort of a stronger currency. However, with what's going on at the moment, I've sort of stepped aside and just left it for now. And with these lower highs coming through, maybe if it runs into its daily pivot here, it'll react to that, and the 34, if it's there still, may react to that sort of level and drop back south again. It's certainly in the shorter time frame here looking bearish. Canadian dollar's really softened up as well. It's not necessarily to the degree of some of these other markets, but if you turn this upside down, it's US dollar, Canadian dollar, if you inverted it, it looks like so many other markets out there in terms of we've had this consolidation through a lot of them. Here it's just poking up instead of pushing down at the moment, and it looks like it could be on for its monthly pivot at some stage. The way it's going here, it's put higher lows in, and that's the sort of general direction it looks like it's running. So it's sort of all we're seeing leading into this evening at the moment is dollar strength effectively coming through here. A couple of cross pairs here, euro yen I look at quite a lot. That's with the yen sort of strengthening, with the yields etc dropping, and well, we've been seeing a move southward on this, but again it's quite a mess and difficult to really work out exactly what it's doing. Lower highs, yes, in there, lower lows maybe. Maybe the monthly pivot still has the potential of drawing price down to it, so down to this sort of 131.20 area. As I say, a lot of these just aren't that clear. This is probably okay-ish, but it's this sort of surges in between things that just sort of mess the pattern up from being a decent trend to a mess. Right, look at the commodities. Gold, well, it's not one of these messes really. At the moment heading south a tad. It's still in a range overall. It's just softened over the last couple of days, more so, looking a little bit softer as this sort of yields, as I say, drop down here. So's the gold at the moment. It's just not really doing too much. In fact, I'm talking about the yields. I just want to have a quick look at the yields where they're sitting at the moment. Yeah, it's dropped. It's still down to this 1.5 area. We're sitting at 1.6, nearly 1.7. Puts more pressure on, well, the dollar, etc. But the dollar's just doing half decent because of expectations for this evening, I think. So gold, still to me at the moment here with a lower high that's come in here, looks a bit like it's got more downside. Could switch back, of course, like a turn on a dime, which it often does. Oil's been coming off. Let's just go to the dailies here, coming off yesterday and today. We do have OPEC meetings that may just drive it down some more, but there is the expectation that more oil will be pumped, and maybe that's now getting priced into this market more so. So lower highs coming through here, clearer on the hourly. I'll start preparing myself, thinking for short side of the oil prices maybe, but maybe after today. We'll see. Okay, so looking at the other markets, let's just come and look at my, actually let's have a look at the equities. Yep, it's 802, can read here. So the CSI 300 now closed below the prior lows there, so continuing in that what, as I said, it looked to me bearish, and it's running bearishly, and it looks like, well, maybe it'll attack this sort of 47.63 area, but yeah, it looks weak, and I think it will just continue rolling over there. No movement on the Nikkei, that's odd. That's yesterday's move. What's going on? That's the second. There's nothing today. Must be no holiday today. I might not have picked up. It's certainly not there anyway. Let's go through to the UK market, well, the European markets, starting off with the FTSE. FTSE's down this morning. Almost a bearish Harami yesterday, but ugly looking candle, hanging man I suppose. But following through on the downside at the moment. Uncertainty sitting across the whole lot there. DAX, well, DAX had a solid day yesterday, pushing on forward. Just have a look there, 3rd of November, just make sure we've got today's in there. Yep, and well, it's looking for its highs, or has been looking for highs, although back at the moment. And the CAC, if I can get the CAC on there, there we go. And the CAC looking stronger as well. It's pushed through now. Yesterday I mentioned the prior highs there, but it's continuing to push. It's holding up well at the moment, and continuing to push. Don't want to be standing in front of any of these. S&Ps, there you go, yesterday pushing up into new all-time highs once again. As I said with these, whilst they're doing this, let them do it. I wouldn't be looking to try and get a short out of any of these US markets at this stage, regardless of thoughts and seeing the bigger money moving away from them. Doesn't really matter at this stage. Everything's pushing upwards, and it's the usual case of looking intraday, maybe buying on the retracements. Right, that's that quick look at the cryptos, just in case I get told off for forgetting those. Cryptos have had a good day yesterday. There you go. Bitcoin pushed up, gave us a little higher low there near term. Ended up positively. Ethereum's been outperforming, and once again it had a good day yesterday. I mean, these really certainly the Ethereum looks like an opportunity to buy on dips maybe, but there isn't one at the moment. It's shoving up again. Ripple broken out at last of the trend line there, broken out, looking a little bit more solid, running into its prior highs there, but that too could continue in its upward direction. Right, that's it. I wish you a great day. Nothing else to add there at the moment, just coming back to have a quick look at the euro. There you go, flatlining until tonight. Have a great one. I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Bye for now. There we go, all jobbed.